start the recording as a backup. And you want to do the introduction, Al, or you want me to?
I'm good. It's Thursday, September 21st, 2003, and it's approximately 7:14.
7:16.
I'm sorry.
7:16 p.m.
What he said. 7:15. You're on, Brian.
Who's taking minutes?
Christine has to sign.
Christine did.
It's recorded.
Who,
No,
who's taking minutes?
somebody has to take minutes for the meeting. Somebody has to do it.
Hey.
I was taking minutes for the executive board.
You did executive board, I'll do leadership.
There you
Okay, Mama. Thank you.
You're welcome.
go.
Although that kind of defeats the purpose of the round robin, Veronica, since historically it's just you or me who does leadership minutes.
I know, no one else is stepping up.
I'll do next month, Veronica.
Okay.
We're gonna pass on the review of the minutes since we don't have them. We're gonna take a look at the full board agenda. Could you bring that up?
Yep. One.
Did we do the whole introduction and all that? Did we do the introduction?
Let's go around the table first, just so we introduce people that are here. We'll start with you, Tiz.
Phyllis Estacio, Chair of Education and Public Safety.
Al D'Angelo, co-chair of Committee Board 11.
Veronica Castro, treasurer and chair of economic development.
Bernadette Ferrara, Chair of Community Board 11.
Malcolm Gray, Sergeant at Arms and co-chair of Community Development Budget Priorities.
Christine Culpepper, I'm the new chair of the Diversity, Equity and Inclusion Committee.
Hi, I'm Naomi Pemberton, and I'm the chair of the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee.
I'm Hazel Mura. I'm chair of the Housing Committee and co-chair of Transportation.
I'm Sandra Unger. I'm chair of the Health and Social Services Committee.
Alvaro Francis, Chair of Sanitation.
We can't hear
We
you.
can't hear you.
Unmute. Ken, unmute.
I heard.
Kelnick, chair of the Land Use Committee.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay,
So,
that's it. Roger?
I'm Jeremy, District Manager, Community Board 11, and Chris Kirka. I don't know if you want to introduce yourself, Chris.
Just not to be rude, did anyone hear me?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Chris Kirka, vice chair of Kirka House. No, I'm just staff. I'm just joking.
Just seeing if we're listening, right?
All right, we're good. Harriet, I saw Harriet earlier, didn't I?
She was on, I think, the other one.
Executive.
All right, we'll dispense the minutes since we don't have them. The full board agenda, you have a copy of that, Jeremy? You can put up?
Yeah, hold on. But since we started talking about minutes, and we should repeat some of the things, Al. And one thing I didn't get to say earlier because I didn't want to say it earlier, if you don't mind, is because we didn't have time. So when I first came to my position, the staff would just publish the minutes as they received them. I tried to make it a habit of putting it on letterhead to standardize it, to make it transparent as possible, so you know what things are. The latest thing I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make it consistent with the full board meeting minutes. Forget about present absent excuse at the beginning. The last page will have the attendance of the board members. So, unless there's questions about that, let me share what Al wants me to share. And I'll bring up the North Pole thing too. So, can you see the screen, Al?
Yes.
All right, so Wednesday, not Thursday, September 27th. There was a conflict on September 28th. Brad and I spoke about it. We want to try to go to Einstein again. And that's where we'll be moving Hall.
Has
So
that
that's
been,
the corner. What's that?
has Einstein said okay?
Yeah, of course. I
Okay.
wouldn't have publicized it or
No,
or
you
just
said
about, you know.
try to go to Einstein again.
Well, also people ask me for addresses. If you're new to the board, the easiest way, because the address for the building is like on Morse Park Avenue or Eastchester Road, but it's really at the corner of Newport and Van Nest Avenues, right? So it's, you know, if you're headed from Morse Park, if you're headed on Morse Park Avenue towards Eastchester Road, it's right before you get to Eastchester Road, you take a right, and it winds to the left, and then turns right into Van Nest. But instead of turning right, you just go into that parking lot gate that will be open. So if anybody if that's confusing, just reach out to me or anybody else after the meeting. Or say something now, I guess.
Jared, originally the address for that was like 1200 Van Nest Avenue. I remember the
Yeah.
first time I couldn't find it.
Yeah, it's-
So,
And
yeah,
GPS probably won't help you either.
no, didn't. So thank you.
So Pledge of Allegiance, moment of silence, gallery. This is remember, this is June's template. So I don't know if Mr. Press is in the meeting, if he still plans on speaking. I'm sure he probably does. I don't think Kevin Deloya is in. I don't have any requests online. Remember, we will take people who sign up online first, or whoever registers in advance, so to speak. Chair's report. So I know this was a bylaw proposal. I started typing. I know Naomi had quite a few bylaw proposals. I think you wanted me to send out. You want us to send out the parliamentary procedure guide, even though it's old for Mayor Bloomberg. It is probably a good reference, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Okay. So, what other proposals were bylaw proposals, Naomi? Since you're here, that I don't want to make sure we miss. I mean,
Was that a suggestion or a proposal on the,
On the parliamentary.
yeah,
I thought
Yeah,
the
that was
proposal
suggestion.
for the parliamentary was just to basically put them on the website.
yeah, that's what.
well, it was also proposed having a reference in our bylaws, so that would be a bylaw proposal, even though it's a small one, right? I mean, I could be wrong about that.
But maybe we could let's just worry about having it on the website.
Okay, fine. So if you're withdrawing that from the bylaws, that's fine. But you had some other ones, did you not?
I had a
New
couple, but
proposal.
I didn't know that I was gonna be
Yeah.
on the spot. This
Are they
evening.
going to be proposed or is something that was brought forth to
Well, I
discuss?
can get rid of it if we're not prepared to do it
I mean,
this month.
that's up to Naomi.
I just haven't really, you know, some of you know my personal situation right now that I haven't really, I've had to take off of work, so I haven't had time to focus on some. And in addition to me playing referee between people, arguably.
So Jeremy, why don't we ask, Sandy at this point, if there's anything that,
At this point, we're a work in progress and we're trying to organize the bylaws. To me, a proposal is the same. It has to go before the board, and then it has to take time.
Well, the
look at
process
it.
is that it's submitted in writing to Bernadette, which I know Naomi has done. But if we're not prepared to do it this month, then that's the point of this agenda, making sure I don't forget.
I think, Jeremy, what was happening, and I think the proposals that were presented were being discussed. I don't know if there was going to be further discussion on it, or you want to bring it up for a vote now.
No, you can't vote. You can't vote on the
You can't
bylaw.
vote on it.
I mean,
no,
make it a proposal now or wait until we tweak it a little bit and look it over so that everybody gets a chance to look at it. And then possibly next month we can make it a proposal. But that's up to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Right.
Because I
It
wasn't prepared this evening, so.
So then we'll table it then to the following month so everybody gets a chance to look at it and evaluate it and then give Naomi feedback.
yeah, one of the things that I with regards to the, oh, so you took off the bylaws. Okay, you just
Yeah,
deleted.
I mean, I can put it back on though.
No,
You tell me, Bern, it's your report.
The bylaws committee is a work in progress right now, so that everybody is aware that it's not just dangling in an abyss. So, the committee, the committee of the bylaws committee at this point, has, basically, have Sandy Unger is the new chair of the bylaws committee within their committee, within the committee and the members. And Joanne Rubino is the co-chair. And there is a work in progress. So I just wanted to at least let the leadership know that at this point. So there are bylaws, past bylaws that will be discussed. Am I right? Am I right, Sandy, that?
Yeah, we will discuss them.
Yes, and that there is going to be an October bylaws meeting?
I'm
There is-
assuming, yes.
Yes, I think there was an ask. Was there an ask, Jeremy, about what
Yeah,
days?
I know Cynthia's been pushing on the bylaws committee, but in terms of the change in structure, I don't remember if you sent an email that we need to send an email out regarding Sandy being the new chair.
No
Right.
notification.
Well, yeah, I was. It's not to say that Bernadette didn't tell me and the rest of the staff to send it out, and we just didn't. Maybe it was an oversight. I don't know if that.
I will, I will
No,
instruct.
I mean, if you could, if you didn't send an email, we can do it. I mean, it's not a big deal. I mean, if you want to word it a certain way, that's a different story. But
It's up to
Yeah.
And it
Sandy.
should be noted, Jeremy, that this is not a standing committee.
well, it has been for the past 3 or more years. Actually, it's probably been more like 5 or more years.
It's still non-standing.
All right, so right now, the bylaw committee is a work in progress. You're having a meeting next month. Go ahead,
Right.
John.
Okay. So you want me to leave that on your agenda or under your report, Bernadette, to make the announcement to the full board?
Just leave it there
Yeah.
and then go.
All right. Anything else, Bernadette, for your report?
No,
Any of the stuff we discussed at the previous meeting tonight?
I have not put my report together, so I will send it to you. I was working on the executive board. So I'm not prepared to put that in right now.
Okay. Veronica, treasurer's report. Anything specific you need to announce?
No, I'll have just July and August and September will be all condensed into one report like I always do, so everybody sees what's going on.
Okay. So the full board meeting minutes, drafted minutes were up there. Related to that, that news article that came out of the city publication, which not everybody's happy about. I wasn't 100% happy about it. Or at least, I like complete accuracy. I know the article focused on full board meeting minutes, not committee meeting minutes, which obviously, we need to work on. But so if you read the news article, it talks about a joke that was made. It wasn't a joke. Well, it was a joke the staff used to make about they used to say how, board members never used to vote or read the minutes. So I proved their point. Long story short, Harriet used to type up 14-page meeting minutes. And after I proved the point about people not reading the minutes, I got her to knock them down to 4 pages, approximately. Depends on how long the meeting is. So remember, meeting minutes are supposed to be a synopsis, not a play-by-play. And we can work with you on doing that. I mean, if there's anything else, Hazel, that you want to note about meeting minutes or anyone else, I think that should be good enough for now. Okay. And then legal matters. So I did, the board voted in June to request a meeting with the DA's office, the Borough President's office, and the City Law Department. The DA's office, the letter went out. I keep every chance I get, I keep asking them about it. Someone did reach out to me in the DA's office. I don't know if it was in relation to that. VP's office, I'm going to approach next. And Law Department, I don't have a great contact there. Maybe Al or somebody does. Related to that, I do still have an open EO complaint. I will share. I do intend on sharing the transcripts of the 3 public hearings for my EO complaint with the board because I think the board should be apprised of what has happened so far. The state is looking to dismiss my case, but so long as I can help it, I'm going to appeal that with the Supreme Court of New York. So then unless there's anything else regarding my report, I think we can move on to committee reports. economic development. This is as far as I got today. I did not plan on being basically out of the office all day today. So I know that there were 3 motions last night, all contingent upon the NYPD's thumbs up. And if there's anything else, Veronica, I'll just, I'll touch this up tonight, tomorrow, and that's really it. There's just 3 liquor license applications. Anything else, Veronica?
No, that's it. Those were the only 3 motions that came out of the meeting.
And I know a member of the public did bring up
What happened?
office, and we'll follow up on that.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Oh, and then since this is kind of still here, I've reached out to the owner of the proposed cannabis location. That's in limbo because of the court injunctions and whatnot. That's been held up because of, the bigger picture items, bigger law court matters. Is Rabbi here?
No.
Okay. I don't know if anybody on transportation had any motions that were voted on.
No.
Or can anybody tell me now if there are any motions other than economic development made in committee that should be on this agenda?
Well, no.
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Okay.
That's enough.
If there isn't, get back to me.
Jeremy, I have a question about
Ethics.
the litigation that you had put forth.
So
I got a call from the lawyer today telling me what the disposition was. Am I supposed to announce that, or,
You're not supposed to announce that?
are you gonna mention it next week? You said you were gonna put out the transcript.
Yeah, I mean, I just announced it that the state wants to dismiss the case, but I have every intent on appealing to the Supreme Court of New York State.
So Jeremy, we're gonna,
And I plan on sharing the transcripts from the 3 public hearings, since it seems like nobody who wasn't at those hearings didn't know about that, with, unless they spoke to me.
Jeremy, we're gonna be voting on 2 complaints for the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. Would those be considered motions?
Yeah, of course. Well, I think Naomi's here. She can explain her process, right? That she announced it at our meeting that we're going to do an e-vote. I don't think you announced the actual surveys. I think that would be helpful. So I don't know if you want to do that now, or you can just send me something later, because I understand we're limited on time.
I have everything.
No rush.
I have everything prepared for you.
You have something to send me? Okay.
Yep, I have the results and the list of the questions and the votes. So I'll let you know. I don't know what you want. Anything, like, I want you to review it and tell me if that's good enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
But I have everything for you. Ready to go.
Okay. So then we'll update that. 2 motions. I'll just put it here now.
But I was gonna, because the process is that the vote goes on, and then I tell the leadership committee or executive committee, whatever, or leadership.
Yeah, the leadership committee. Yeah. You want to tell them now, since we're here?
Are we at my, because we have all the.
Yeah, because it was right now. Yeah, basically. I mean, look, if anybody wants me to add something, is there anybody else that, this is old stuff with, I know community development had a public hearing. I can just write that down, or you can just announce it. I know Sandy had the Pride Center at Jacoby come and speak to them.
Correct.
I could just write that too. If there's anything specific you want me to put, just tell me.
Jeremy, I definitely do.
And then I know there's a newly formulated DEI committee. I could put that on there too, even though it's a non-standing committee.
Please, Jeremy.
Okay. So just remember, some people complain about how the agenda is ordered. They don't understand how it's ordered. We always put the committee reports that have actual motions first. And if by chance that, we make a mistake, we forget, whatever, just tell us. But ideally, standing committees first, then non-standing, unless there's motions. So we do have a bylaws committee. I can put that report. I don't know if Sandy, there's a report you want to give, or you want me to just put
No,
it there. I know
not at
Grant's
this
going to bring it up.
point. I'm just saying everything is a work in progress.
Okay.
Right.
So I will move ethics up I will move ethics up to below
Jeremy, can I
economic
just,
development. Go ahead.
Jeremy, can I just interrupt you for a
Yeah,
minute?
go ahead.
Just ask the board members, that are here to just have their videos on, to get used to having their videos on, so that are present online.
Well, this is for members of the committee, just to be clear. Because the only people that need their video on are, well, I know, Bernadette, you have a request if you're going to speak that people put their video on, but in terms of legal requirements, I could be wrong. If you're a member of the committee, the leadership committee, you need your video on to be counted for towards the quorum, or not towards the quorum, towards to be able to vote and stuff like that,
Okay.
and attendance.
So you can vote if you're virtual?
You can vote remotely, yes, but you have to have a quorum in person and you have to have your video on.
Oh, okay, I didn't know. Okay, thank you. I'll just
Yeah, just remember Bernadette brought this up. You know, maybe we should put that too under your report, Bernadette, about, you know, your checklist or just some of the legal.
Yes, if you want to put that, I already wrote myself a note to tell you about the checklist, yes. Yes, that is going to be, everybody's gonna hear that more than once.
So I might just say attending meetings in person and virtually. I don't,
Yes.
we can play with the wording if necessary, right?
Well, yes.
If you want to tweak it between now and next week.
Right, the wording coincides, but how it was on the agenda.
But is that clear on how I order the committee reports? We do motions first because, you know, we have had instances where, you know, you lose the quorum and then if anybody calls it, the meeting can be ended right then and there. So we put the motions first, and I do leadership first after that, unless there's motions, and down through alphabetically standing committees and then non-standing committees. DEI will go below sanitation, transportation will be added. And bylaws, I guess we don't need to put them.
No, and that's a non-standing, it's supposed to be a non-standing.
Yeah, so I put non-standing at the bottom, just like our website's the model. Leadership first, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I know sometimes people ask to be front loaded, like they have to leave early. So, you know, we'll put them first. I mean, unless the board objects, right? Ultimately, this stuff is up to the board.
Sure.
So unless there's any committee report items, should we go on to elected officials, which is pretty standard?
I have committee report items.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Which one? Which
I'm
committee?
I'm very low today.
Yeah.
I guess Serena sent out emails to all of the chairs in regards to our district needs. So we're requesting that everyone please review it. And please send us your requests as soon as possible. The community's request for the district.
Budget priorities, right?
Budget priorities.
Yeah, budget priorities.
Got
Yeah. Like we really need those to be able to add into the portal. And we're also looking for a vote this month on our top 3 needs. So we really want people to review the district needs report and, you know, come in ready to have that discussion with us.
I worked that out with Serena. Did Serena,
Well,
she send that to you?
But she asked me to mention it again today for everyone.
Yeah, no, okay. I'm just saying for mine, I just sent it to her directly. I don't think I copied you.
Okay.
All right, but it was just a question about resubmitting what was already there and
I
the,
thought about that, yeah.
right, okay,
Yeah.
fine. Just want to make sure. I should have copied you both.
That's fine.
So, Malcolm, I have a question for that, if you don't mind, if nobody minds, Al, if you don't mind. Serena emailed the committee chairs directly.
She sent it twice, August 11th and September 13th.
Okay. Directly to the committee chairs, though, right?
I believe so.
Okay. I mean, if that's the case, that is great.
I believe she sent it to the staff to be forwarded out.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay. So I'm not sure if it got forwarded out. Did it?
Yeah, I don't know about that. I mean, remember, so I just want to remind everybody that there's now a Google spreadsheet that anybody can access, whether you have a Google account or not. But to make edits to it, you do have to have a Google account. If you don't, you can just ask staff if you want your phone number there for anybody else to call you or not. I gotta go get my charging cord before the laptop dies on me. But yeah, please remember, as much as possible, utilize, don't reach out to me. If you want Veronica's phone number, for example, go to the
Okay.
spreadsheet,
Okay.
you know?
I have a request with regards, and you're on it, and I'm sorry to interrupt. Can you put it on the website? Can you put that link, can you, or no?
No.
We
No, I
can't.
cannot, because then anybody from the public can have your contact info.
I
And
don't
that's
need
not,
my information out there like that.
that's not,
Yeah.
people will hang me for that, and I don't blame them.
Can
They
you
do.
resend out the link to everybody?
Yeah.
Jeremy,
What,
thank you.
I have a request.
Yeah, I think I did recently. I
You
can
did.
resend.
Yeah.
Yeah,
To the
can you-
board.
But, can you update it with the positions? Cause I requested that. And I didn't. get it.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, I mean, no, we could, but then that's just going to be duplicating the website, and it's going to be ultimately a waste of our time.
Oh, it's on the
Because
website?
because I have other things I want to do, like publish minutes, especially committee meeting minutes, like meetings from this week, last week. I can do it, but like the way it's ordered, I put the executive board first, just like the general membership. Executive board first, and then the general membership. But for who's actually a title of the committee, if you complete, I mean, we
That
could
change-
do it, but I don't think it's a good use of our time. And I got to run and grab a charging cord. So just
Yeah, I just always feel like I don't know who's the chairs. I just need to know who the chairs.
It's always on the website though. It's always
It's on the
updated on the
website.
website.
Okay, I have to check
When you
that.
look up board members, you could also look up board members by committee, and then each committee will say chair, co-chair, and then the rest of the
Okay.
people on the committee.
I'll do that.
And also, Cynthia said that Jeremy sent out
On
Right.
August
So,
15th,
on
thank
August
you.
15th. So, we can look for August 15th. We can send it out again if you think it'll help for it to be on the top of people's email. It's up to you guys.
All right, no, I'll look at, I'll Google, I'll search it on my email. Not a problem. I just don't know if everybody really needs to be reminded that it's there.
Well, that's what I'm
Okay.
saying. Sometimes if we resend it, it pops to the top of people's email list,
Yeah.
and they'll more likely look at it then than having to search for it.
Yeah. Cynthia said they could star it too. Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
that's what I do. But I need
Well, you're
to.
not alone, Bernadette.
If there's nothing else, Jeremy, to bring up the calendar,
Wait, did we finish with the agenda?
I think.
I
we-
think so. I mean, I could, again, I think I got the correct elected officials on here now,
Right.
but I could be, there's always room for improvement. Bernadette's really good about picking up on the little details that, I try to be perfect, especially with our website, but we're human, and Serena's good about pointing out things too. So anybody, you point something out, see something, say something, ideally, yeah, in a, whatever,
I
say
think-
something, sooner rather than later. All right.
That website, can everybody just please try to check the website after 5 PM?
Yeah, I just saw something where it's not the, okay. I
Well,
just.
there's the other thing too that we've had an issue in the past that board members got upset about is sometimes you have to clear your cache. I don't know if everybody understands this is a technical thing, but if you're not aware of it, you're gonna say to me, "Oh, it's not updated. My agenda's not there." The problem, how computers work is that it will take basically a picture and save it for easy access. And so
That's
if
right.
you look at the website today, but Chris updates it tomorrow, if you don't clear your cache, it may show you the same picture from yesterday, and it won't show you the updated thing. Sometimes you have to refresh your screen, and then it will automatically appear. If you
Jeremy,
don't know how to clear,
it's like emptying out your garbage. You take out your garbage at the end of the day. It's like you got to empty your cache at the end of the day. And it also makes things smoother because the garbage is no longer there. It makes it run a little smoother. So,
And
But-
sometimes you could send something and on my computer will say it's uploading and it could take a half hour before it pops up on the screen.
yeah.
So Chris, I rely on Chris a lot to update the website. So when he does it on his computer at the office, it's like instantaneous for him. And I'll say, Chris, I asked you to do this. What's going on? He'd be like, you're like, I did it, man. Refresh. but we've had, Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, we've had multiple issues with board members, complaining that the website's not been updated, but in reality, it has been.
But not only that, but you gotta understand sometime, excuse me, we have issues with do it, meaning that sometimes they do kind of maintenance. Usually they do it Saturdays and Sundays, but for kind of emergency things, sometimes it takes a lot. So when it happens that it's not uploaded right away, or at least within an hour, we tend to contact do it, and they will say that, you know what, just give it some time until, because they have glitches too, you gotta understand that.
They also have a cache, their own internal cache they have to clear sometimes to make our website. I think they do it every hour. And sometimes I've had to reach out to them because maybe we got the agenda wrong, the link or something. So I republish it right away, but it's not showing up. I could republish it at 6 o'clock and still not ready by 7. So sometimes I've had to reach out to which is currently the Office of Technology Innovation, OTI, and they have to clear their own cache. So there's a lot of, unfortunately, red tape with this stuff.
Okay,
So
all right.
calendar, Al?
Please, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of information, but it's important because these misunderstandings become problematic sometimes when people don't understand what's being done and why it's being done.
If everybody can please take a look at that calendar, if it coincides with what you want, that's fine.
No.
You
Public
have to
safety.
bring it up. You don't have all the whole calendar.
No, let's start with transportation, sanitation, education, housing. Hazel, do you want to keep your meetings at 6:30 or 7?
No,
Sure.
6:30 is good.
Okay. Health is at 7.
Yeah, so we're gonna have a speaker come in. So it's set.
Yeah, and then what the nice thing I like about your committee, Sandy, or you as chair, is that you just like when Bernadette was chair of education, you don't rely on staff necessarily to book your own speakers.
Jeremy,
Just
let's just go in order. Transportation, is that date fine with everybody? Sanitation, environment, education, housing.
For sanitation, I know I'm
Sanitation is,
working nights that day, and
Malcolm, did you have?
I don't think we have a topic.
No, but housing.
Oh.
Good.
hold on. Sanitation, you guys want a meeting or you don't?
I won't be able to attend because I'm working nights the 3rd.
Okay.
I don't think we have a topic to bring up.
So do you want to touch base with your committee members before we do anything? Havel?
right. Thank you so much.
Okay. Go ahead, Al.
Health and social services, parks and recreation.
Janice could not be here tonight. She texted me. She has an excuse.
Okay.
Jeremy, was that day good with the rabbi, the first?
Yeah, Sukkot.
Yeah,
Well, I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure it should be fine
okay.
because it should be over by Monday evening, right?
It's be over by Sunday evening, actually.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Be over
so
Sunday
it should be
evening.
fine. Yeah, Ken's here. Good.
okay.
Yeah, I don't see any holiday conflicts.
The 16th, disciplinary, ethics. and
So one
disciplinary.
second, Al, before we go on the 13th, the DEI is proposing that we'll have our first meeting then.
Okay. What time?
What time, Julie? 7 is good. Cynthia, you good with that?
I didn't think we had meetings on Friday evenings.
I don't think we ever did, Ken. I don't ever remember.
I would object to having the meetings on Friday evenings at that point in time.
Right.
Right after sundown, right?
Do you want to state why, just so they're clear?
Objections.
I know why. But
No Orthodox Jews can come there.
But 13 is Thursday.
What?
No, that's
are we on? I'm sorry. Are we on September? October. And we're on October.
Over.
13th is a Friday.
How about
Thursday.
Christine?
Did you have
Well,
something
yeah.
proposing for the
Yeah,
11th?
I
Well,
wanted
hold
to,
on. A question I have, Ken, is it possible that they have only one meeting because there's some people who may only be able to attend on a Friday? I'm not talking about Orthodox Jews, obviously.
I don't know. Does anybody, so far I haven't heard of anybody that is limited to a Friday.
It's okay, let's go with another date, that's all. The 11th, okay?
The 11th is the.
There might be a conflict with the other one.
definite conflicts.
Okay. It's a conflict.
We may want to put the community development budget priorities on 11 because of the time sensitivity of getting the request in.
All right, how about one of the other dates? Could you go
Let's look at the other dates.
Could you go at 6? One of the other dates?
6
before
is a
the-
Friday too.
Yeah, so it's not that much.
23, 24, 17, maybe.
Well, we have to move public safety from the 17th. Do you want to take the 17th?
Let's,
It's a Tuesday.
Third Tuesday.
Where are you gonna put public safety?
24th, the next one.
So we could do
All right,
it.
public safety going from the 17th to the 24th, Jeremy.
do you want to do the 17th?
Okay.
Let's do the 17th.
Wait a minute, we talked about,
Yeah.
we talked about.
Rabbi,
I
it's the
just- I
17th,
just
sir?
discussed it with Rich.
Yeah, yeah.
17th's open, Chris.
Yeah.
We just discussed it.
All right,
Al?
Chris will take the 17th.
I know that with public safety, we're not gonna make it the second to the last Tuesday.
No, Tiz just spoke to Rich and they decided that they're moving it.
We're gonna make it the 24th Okay. of this month. We just discussed it.
Okay.
You good, Jeremy?
Yeah. Yep. You want to keep going down the list, Al? 7 p.m. You said, right, Christine? Or
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, Jeremy.
And you got community development on the 11th, right?
All right, so,
I don't
all right, so the
have that on the
17th.
11th. I have it where it was originally a while ago. I know I can move it to the 11th though.
Please, thank you.
The 18th, economic development.
No,
fine.
wait a minute, ethics, I have a conflict, but if, Veronica's okay to take, that night, or you wanna go earlier?
We could do it earlier if you want, because I
Okay.
think it's good that you're there too, because you know more about the mechanics of the voting and everything.
Okay, no problem.
Which
So,
one? Ethics,
Ethics is.
going to 6?
if we could do
What time are we gonna go?
a class at 7, so, it won't take, this is only one case.
23rd, or is it every Monday?
Would you move, yeah, would you wanna move it to the 23rd?
Yeah, I can move it to the 23rd.
Okay, we'll do ethics on the 23rd.
At 7?
Yeah.
I would just make sure you touch base with your committee members, make sure they're going to be able to attend too. That's all.
And then the 16th is open.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, the executive board is gonna be on the 19th,
Yeah, it's a week before.
and then leadership will be after that.
Mm-hmm.
Public safety will be the 24th. 25th.
Wait a minute. Oh,
Yes, Andy.
okay, I was thinking of November. Remember you were working on that November calendar?
Yeah, well, we'll get to November next month, if that's okay.
Oh, because I had something I wanted to call up and see if they could address, but we don't know what day.
Okay.
We'll
Yeah,
work
I
on
mean-
it then.
All right. Well, I'll go back to October. The only question I have for you, Malcolm, I know we set the 4th Thursday of the month. Is that going to be changed? Because I got to update the preferences spreadsheet, which people do look at on our website.
Yeah, no, that's not.
For some,
It's
that-
not going. It's not going to change. But I'll double check Serena. It's just that I know
okay,
because.
so it's just for October then.
Yeah, because the request.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, if there's a consistent change, so Tiz, you said that's just a one-time change for public safety, right?
It depends. Hold on, let me discuss it with Rich a minute. So for public
Okay,
safety.
so yeah, so if you have a permanent change, just let me know so I can update this calendar as well as our meeting preferences.
26th right now is gonna be the full board meeting, correct?
Yep.
Jeremy, is it possible for public safety to go back and forth because Rich has a meeting the third Tuesday.
Yeah,
of every month.
just tell me what you want consistently. Yeah, if you can do it, if you can make it consistent. If it's not consistent, just tell me it's not gonna be consistent.
It's not gonna be consistent. It'll either
Okay.
be the 4th, it depends how the month goes. If it's a short month, It only has, I don't think there are any months that have 3 Thursdays.
No.
anyway.
All right, any other problem with the calendar?
Well, November will be 3 Thursdays because of Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Just so
But then you also have election day and all the other stuff.
What is Thanksgiving? And December
just-
will also only be 3.
And
So
Veterans Day.
Yeah.
public safety is gonna vary.
Go by turn.
Okay, so we'll deal with that later. All right,
Yeah.
anything else, Al?
All right, we're good with the calendar.
Okay. Save and close it.
Yep. All right. The gallery session, we have anyone speaking to the gallery? Anyone here?
Am I reporting
Gallery? Diane?
first? Am I
Anyone
reporting?
wish to speak? Gallery session?
Wait, I'm sorry, Al, am I reporting
sorry.
on the vote or are we waiting?
On the calendar?
No, tonight.
Am I
She's
reporting on,
supposed to,
report on the vote and,
report on the
Can we
votes that we did, for the
motion-
2 complaints,
Ethics.
They should, okay.
ethics. So we should do that before the gallery session.
Okay.
right? Okay.
Yeah.
Correct. So, hi, I'm Naomi Pemberton. I'm the chair of the Ethics and Disciplinary Committee. We had a meeting on September 18th, this is September, right? September 18th. And there was a follow-up to case number 110, and we were to e-vote that evening. And then we also had the hearing for case 112. Okay, case 110 is Malcolm Gray versus Albert D'Angelo. And the vote is 4 in favor of Malcolm and 1 referred to leadership or full board. So the recommendation is referred to leadership. The recommended solution, number 1, which is leadership board, diversity and inclusion training at the responders' expense, is at 80% yes and 20% no. Recommended solution number 2 to leadership board, step down from current leadership, 60% yes, 20% no, 20% other, refer to leadership or full board for resolution. Recommended solution number 3 to leadership. If recommendation 1 or 2 does not occur, remove from community board. 40% said yes, 20% said no, 20% other, refer to the leadership, and 20% said other. Hopefully, it will not become a matter of removal from the community board. If necessary, perhaps the board can facilitate sensitivity training. And at the very least, Al D'Angelo can take accountability for his actions. Case 112, Al D'Angelo versus Malcolm Gray. It's 80% nay, which is against that, not in Al D'Angelo's favor, and 20% nay. And the one other is referred to leadership full board for resolution. Recommended solution number 1 to leadership board case 112, request for public apology. 80% said nay. And 20% other, referred to leadership or full board for resolution. Recommended solution pound 2 to leadership, sensitivity training. 80% said nay. 20% said refer to leadership or full board.
So can you explain the process, in your opinion, Naomi, how this is to play out? Is this going directly to full board? You just advise leadership or leadership weighs in?
So based on the results, I'm gonna make a motion for recommendation number 1, which is leadership board request diversity and inclusion training, because that's what people voted for the most.
Who needs the training?
Al would
Thank
get
you.
the
Just
training.
clarifying.
Yeah, oh yeah, no, thank you.
Can I ask, did the people that were named in the complaint vote?
Yes.
Are they supposed to be voting? Isn't that a
Yes.
conflict of
That
interest?
was,
No, it's
that
not.
was something that came up that I, as my, personally have a concern about that.
Mhm.
People that complained and people that were complained against. voted on both these complaints. I feel it's a conflict of interest, not a monetary conflict of interest, an ethical conflict of interest. I'm the one who put in pretty much all my responses that would be referred to the leadership committee, because that's just how I feel, you know? I mean,
Yeah, I also.
so I
Right,
just
I'm in
don't
agreement.
think it ethically that people that are being complained against or making a complaint should actually
Right.
vote on the resolution of a complaint.
And you guys are absolutely up to your opinion, but factual and documentation, there's nothing wrong with any of us voting. Understand that this committee was developed, I think, by Al. And so there's no
According,
precedent that says you
according to my
can't
attorney,
vote.
he
Yeah,
said,
but that's different as far as the actual voting.
No, I disagree with you.
Yeah.
I disagree with you. As I said, I even canceled June's meeting to make sure that we are not violating
according
any
to my
conflict
attorney,
of
it's has
interest.
nothing to do with, it was an article written outside of the purview of the community board.
So,
So the community board has no purview of what I write outside the community board.
okay,
There are people here, and I went through emails
okay.
and Facebook pages. I could bring everybody up on something that they've said that I don't agree on.
Mhm, mhm.
Then we get into a what do
Right.
you call a contest?
Well, okay, as I stated, this committee is a recommending body. We did not do anything wrong in terms of voting. As I said, I did 2 months. I'm sorry. I'm
Do we
gonna
have
stick
it in
to-
writing?
I have it in writing.
Can you email
Well,
it to the leadership committee?
I can email it, but does it have any
But
bearings on what I'm
What
doing right
chance do
now?
what chance do I have when you have 16 people that signed off on a complaint and those same 16 people are gonna vote
voting.
against?
But
No, 3 of them.
Well,
like I said,
to
wait,
be
but let
clear,
me just finish.
only 3 of the people out of the 6 people on the ethics committee
Yeah, 3.
were part of the thing, so it's not 16, it's just 3 people, but out of 6 people, 3 of them are participants.
That was 16 that signed.
No, I'm talking only about the ethics committee.
Oh, got
There's
it.
only
Yes.
6 people in the ethics committee, and out of those 6, 3 of them either are part of the first complaint or part of the second complaint. So that's just clarity.
But what I'm saying is,
Goes before the full board.
what I'm saying is that
16
there's
people
nothing,
signed on to that complaint.
there's nothing, according to the Conflict of Interest Board, according to the Bronx Borough President Office, there's nothing that we did wrong.
Do
If
we have that in writing?
people want to
That's
recuse,
what I want to know. Do we have it in writing?
I'm not gonna go here. I'm not gonna go here.
But
if you
Naomi,
got
but
it,
there's
No, no,
some
wait,
people that haven't seen it.
no, we did this already.
No,
We did this
no,
already.
let me just speak for a second.
No,
If there's people on the board that haven't seen the communication and are requesting to see the communication from the Bronx Borough
Yes.
President's office, you should be able to send it to them. They haven't seen it.
okay, yet again, I'm gonna say it again. One, you guys voted on our policy, on our procedure in April. Nobody said anything then.
Was
It
this
may-
brought
wait,
up about people?
Let me just speak.
Complaining, but I'm asking
let
for
me
the
just speak.
procedure.
Let me just speak.
Go ahead.
Let me speak, please. In May, it was brought up. I sent out an email on the results after I called the Conflict of Interest Board and after I spoke with Ciara and she went to her lawyer. And I sent the email. Nobody said anything then. I spoke to you for an hour about it. I spoke to many people.
And I voiced my
And
concerns.
you voiced your concerns, and I told you that I spoke to many people, I spoke to the Conflict of Interest Board, and there's nothing that states that you cannot vote in this case. No one said anything. I am now in September trying to finish my job on this committee with this case. And now you guys are saying it's a conflict of interest, but you don't have anything of documentation to tell me it is. So why do I have to do all that work? You do that work. I shouldn't have to do that.
That's
work.
fine,
Because
then
I did the work already.
Chair of the
So you
committee.
guys, no, I
I'm
did the
happy
work.
to.
I did the work already. I did the work. That's what I'm upset about.
Okay.
I did the work. So you guys, if you have a problem, you can take it up with the Conflict of Interest Board, as I stated, and you can go to the Bronx Borough President's office and tell them you have a problem. And let them, and then you can give me the documentation that goes against what I have presented to you.
Why can't you? Why
Thank
can't
you.
you?
I'm
Thank
going
you.
to do
Yeah,
that.
because that's
but
not fair to
Then
me.
this will be
I'm just
tabled
explaining
until
it.
that comes in.
No, this is the vote, because
I
you know
think-
why? You guys voted on this. You voted on this process and you voted as is. You can't have it as you want it when you want it. That's not
but
actually fair either.
One thing that you
you
said
know-
we voted on the process, but was it distinctly stated that if somebody
on
writes
now.
a complaint, no, that's
Come
what.
on now,
You're
come on
saying that
now.
We voted on the process.
You voted on this,
Naomi, but
you voted
we
on this
didn't vote
process
on
and you
this.
voted on what we're doing.
what's up?
And
Yeah.
wait, can I just, let me just finish, because this is very upsetting. It is.
It's upsetting to you?
It is upsetting
Oh,
to me. It
okay.
is. It is. Because number two, you guys accepted this process. Number two, I have diligently expressed to many people what the entity of bodies that have governed this said, and no one said anything. 3, we are just a recommending body, meaning this is what we think, okay? This is how we voted. And then you guys, leadership, can say, and I give the motion, and guess what? If you guys vote no, guess what? It doesn't happen. I don't understand.
I do want to say something. I do want to say something about that.
Sorry, go ahead.
I understand your argument, right? But I really want to press the thought process that if I was able to accumulate nearly half the board issue with what was done and how it was and what was said, there has to be a larger conversation as to how do we build the bridges, and how do we learn from this. This isn't about power, this isn't about an agenda, this isn't about procedural issues. There is about that there's half of this board who represents certain communities, and that we need to figure out a way to bridge that gap.
No, and
There's
I
a gap
agree
that
with that.
exists.
I agree with that.
Right?
My
Because
concern.
I know I understand your concern, but the thing is that if I didn't, oh no, 1 second. If I did not get those names on that letter, to your argument, they will be able to vote.
Correct.
But because I raised those names due to the lack of faith that I had in this board, in our committee at the time, that was the only way that I felt I was able to present a clear argument here that we have an issue that needs to be addressed. And I would rather us spend the time focusing on that case, figuring out how can we bridge the gap on that issue rather than come to the defense on one side or another. We have an issue here. Let's solve it together.
And I agree, but as a board, when we're sitting here and Naomi says we did the processes and we voted on the process, yes, but was that part of the process that if somebody files a complaint that they too, if they are on the committee, be able to vote? No, that was not
Right,
part of the process.
but-
Let me
Complaint
speak.
is
Let me
D'Angelo
speak.
versus Malcolm Gray.
Let me speak.
That is the complaint.
All right,
Let
Naomi.
me speak, please.
Excuse me,
Okay.
nothing I
So
wrote.
Wait, Al,
So-
wait.
My concern is as a community board, we're supposed to be ethical and fair. How are we being fair? In a court of law, you would never be able to make a decision as a jury on a case that you're involved in. So how are we, when we're calling these hearings, be able to say that I complained about Tiz, but Tiz is on the same committee and Tiz is gonna vote on her thing? She can't vote.
I'm gonna vote in my
I'm
favor.
sorry, but you cannot compare
Right,
this
but
to,
we-
wait, let me just, I'm sorry. You cannot compare this to a court of law. 2 lawyers pick you. Okay, and if those 2 lawyers, so that means at that time, those lawyers have to say, I don't want you on my jury. Okay, so you can't compare that to us.
And we use
Yeah,
But we don't have that here.
Right, but-
What we
This
have
is
to
not,
do
but
is
this
a
is
matter
not a
of
court of
ethics.
law.
right, but
This is not a
This
court
is
of law.
literally the ethics committee
Right, what we're doing is we're making a judgment on a complaint.
that
That
you are
happened.
part of.
Okay,
we
so,
could
because
only-
according to
But you
2
were
bodies,
prejudicial
I
on
don't
the-
have an issue.
right,
you
we
were
could only
prejudicial on
That's
your
where
judgment.
I'm having a problem
We
with this. This
can-
is what making me
we
upset.
can only use the bylaws and the language that we have available in order for us to make our reasoning, right? If this is an issue, right, then we can move forward and figure out how can we solve that going into the future. In the future, we can make a bylaw change to this stuff. But to bring that, to have that concern, I made this, this was in April?
Right.
And I voiced
Well, what
the
I'm gonna
concern
do-
every time. I have brought this
And it's
up
in the
for
email.
many,
You brought it
both
up,
of them.
brought it up many times, but what
Yes.
I need to explain to you is there's nothing, you're going off of a feeling. There's
Right,
no
but you're
docu-
not
unless
providing
you can
us with documentation from those.
Are you-
people.
You're
No,
serious
you,
right now?
see,
Are
I
you
sent an
serious
email
right now?
trail. I
Jeremy?
put that you
No problem.
stated.
Jeremy has his hand up.
I'm not doing anything.
Jeremy
No,
has his hand
no,
up.
if you did,
I'm
then I
just letting you
apologize.
guys know, I'm not doing anything.
Wait a minute,
You
wait a
have
minute.
Feeling
Stop,
after 4
stop.
months.
Everyone
I'm like,
stop.
You guys.
All right. Everyone stop, right? Everyone stop. So can I try to cut through this real quick? Because I have precious time just like you. So 2 things. So there was an e-vote done. We need to know how that's the details that's made public, whether it's in your minutes, Naomi, or tonight. You know, that's made public somehow. But more importantly, so Naomi's making a motion. Does she have a second? You can unmute yourself. And then we can get into discussion. If she doesn't have a second, it's mute. It's mute. It's dead. Do we have a second? Whose hands up?
Christine.
No offense to you, Christine. Do we have a standing committee? 'Cause I don't know if non-standing committees are officially a part of leadership. Do we have another? Just to make sure we're in the clear. Anybody else would like to second the motion? Malcolm, anybody? I mean, we could try that with Christine, but I don't know if that. Again, I want to just to be fair to Naomi. I want to make sure this is done right.
Shit.
Jeremy,
I
you
second-
reviewed it. Malcolm seconded it.
Sorry.
Okay, Malcolm second. So now it's open for discussion. Ken had his hand up, but we do have to vote on the motion, whether you agree with it or not. I mean, whether it was, you can challenge it legally too. Like she said, go to the VPs, whatever. I mean, I just want to try to cut through this as quickly as possible because if the motion, like Naomi says, if the motion fails, then let's move on. Ken, yeah, Ken.
Ken,
I'd like to say something
Wait,
before you,
wait.
Al.
no, let me say what I have to say.
Just make it,
No one refuted the facts that I put in that news article. Naomi, the other night, you said, it was old stuff, and I gave you the dates. 2003, the Heritage Foundation. You didn't mention that.
Yes, I did.
You said, no,
I
you
did.
didn't. You
Yes, I
said
did.
old.
I
you
said
said
1997, 1998, and 2003.
You
Yes, I
said
did.
old.
We can go back to the tape.
You said old. Okay, I looked at it last night. That's number one. Second of all, everything that I wrote was fact. It was fact. Other people have said it. I'm not the only one. Charlene did pretty much the same exact article. No one complained about Charlene because she's a black woman.
Al, I'm just trying to do my job, Al.
Yeah, but what
That's
you're
chair. That's what
prejudicial
you're doing.
going in. You sign a complaint against me and then you turn around and you're gonna vote against me. I didn't have a shot in hell. You decided my fate when you accused me.
Okay.
And what happened was the 3 or 4 people that were on
What
the
is your-
committee, I knew how you were gonna vote.
What is your fate? What is your fate?
you're stating a point. You're stating a
What is
point.
your fate? Because I can't make a determination on your fate.
But you did.
I can't make a determination on your
But you-
absolute fate. I
No, no, but
cannot.
you ma-
The full board has to
Yeah,
make it.
But you have 15 people that signed off on your complaint.
But Al, I have no power. I have no power.
Yeah, no, we already went through this, so I'm sorry. I don't mean to disrespect at all. Please don't take it that way. So let's do we have any other discussion from anybody else?
Ken had his hand up.
Yeah. I'm actually one of the people who actually is a lawyer here. And to me, this would be, it's ironic that the ethics committee, this would be unethical for you to vote on your own complaint. And that, to me, it is unethical. It may not be against the bylaws, but ethics have a higher standard than the legal. And it seems to me it's ironic that the ethics committee is not holding itself to that higher standard.
Okay,
I have a comment.
and
Rich.
Just quick.
So why didn't anyone say this when I said it?
Hold on. Naomi, if someone gave you legal guidance, I think if you can just show it and you're fine, we're fine. You have legal guidance saying it's not a conflict of interest and it squashes everyone's argument. That's all I'm gonna
She
say.
does have it.
And then everyone can walk away. Because that means you can vote on your own complaint,
Okay.
but not, then no.
We have been reminded also that we are not supposed to vote on motions until after the gallery has spoken. So we could put the motion out there, but we're not gonna vote on it
Okay.
until after the gallery session.
Right, right,
Well,
right.
yeah, are you okay with drawing that then, Naomi?
Withdraw my motion?
Just for,
No.
Yeah,
just
you
for,
need to formally withdraw it to
And then-
move forward.
then state it again
Just
after.
following
Just for now,
agenda
just for now.
procedures. That's
Yeah.
all. I do it all the time. It's
If
really-
you don't withdraw it now, then we have to vote on it now, but our procedures
Okay.
ask, so you could state it again after the
Okay.
gallery session.
Sure. Thank you.
But try to get it, please get a second first and then go to discussion.
We got the second, Malcolm seconded it.
Yeah, no, I know, but because you gotta do it again, right?
Okay,
Yes,
so he'll just
yes.
second it again.
I'll second it again.
We're unmuted, so.
Yeah.
So
All right.
you will.
All right, Bernadette, you were speaking. You were gonna
I'll say it
something.
on a discussion when we do it, yeah.
Al, you want to move to the gallery?
Yes.
Okay. See Cynthia's hand is up.
Yes.
I have a question because in the days following the whole issue with the letter and the article, there was an executive session at which Al was present. And the optics of that gave the impression that he was involved in his own executive session. If I'm wrong, correct me, please. I'm willing to listen, but I'm just talking about, again, when we're speaking of conflict, we have to be consistent.
There was no vote?
There was,
There was no vote.
there was no vote and actually, since when I was in the executive session, it was discussion and there was no it was mostly, there was no discussion on his part. It was mostly discussion.
But is it a conflict of interest?
Not
He
if
didn't
he was
vote.
gonna
Is
vote.
it not-
He didn't
is it-
vote.
Is it a conflict of interest?
But he didn't vote. If he voted, it would be.
No,
would
I mean,
say.
But
Bernadette,
the conversation was
Al?
only one-sided then.
Well, no, hold on. Bernadette, Al, I mean, if you don't mind me saying this, I mean, it was the opportunity without the public views to ask Al how he wanted to respond. Did he want to resign or whatever? I mean, I think that doesn't necessarily need to be done publicly because maybe maybe he did want to resign. You don't know. Where it's
No.
worth.
Okay.
Can we move on?
Robert?
I'd like to know what motion is going to be presented that I can speak on. As of now, I don't know what the motion is, so I'd like to hear the motion before I say what I'm going to say. Thank you.
It's not gallery?
Okay.
Well, we can't state the motion now if we.
We have to
withdrew
wait
it.
for after the gallery session. As per the.
Aren't the motions supposed to be done before the gallery session, then the speakers, and then you vote? Isn't that the way it goes?
No.
No. Motions are
And I'm
after.
going to tell you, this board is screwed up, okay? I have to tell you that. Having sat on an ethics committee for 6 years, anybody involved in any problem, any matter pertaining to the ethics, like Ken said, should not be voting, okay? If you are in any way involved, you should not be voting. And we even had the father of a son not vote because of an ethics matter, okay? I'm going to tell you that. And if the motion's not said before the public is speaking, then I'm going to make a complaint to the borough president on the motion and whatever said.
And the mayor.
All right, thank you, Bob.
Anyone else?
Gallery request?
Oh, I'm sorry. Diane?
Sure. So I've been thinking about why Al's statements that were made in that column on behalf of the Morris Park Community Association and the Bronx Times feel so disturbing. The column begins with the phrase, "the elephant in the room," which means something we're not talking about that's a huge problem. And what is that? That Black Americans are the least educated, least healthy, poorest among the most incarcerated ethnic group in this country. Without citing sources for these broad generalities, D'Angelo assigned a pejorative status to a whole group of people that includes everyone from high school dropouts to lawyers, PhDs, a former president, to sitting Supreme Court justices. He goes on to describe Black people as 13% of the population, which is true nationwide, but in the Bronx, it's 44%. And in Community Board District 11, 22%. He states that this 13% of the population nationwide commits 60% of the crimes. This is a crude and harmful use of statistics. The 13% of our population nationwide that is Black are not all out there committing crime to a level 5 times or more as high as any other racial or ethnic group. Analysis has shown that men, who are 49.5% of the population, comprise 81% of all arrests for violent crime, 4 times as much as women, and 63% of all arrests for property crime. Would it be helpful for a woman with multiple leadership roles in the community to write a column for a neighborhood association in the local paper decrying the problem of men? There are many people in our community who are not treating inequalities in crime, poverty, health, or education as an elephant in the room. And I wish, Al, that you had sought them out and talked with them instead of researching online. Research is shaped by your online usage to write an unhelpfully generalized statement. And I'm glad that the DEI committee has finally been appointed. A collegial committee will be a much better place to deal with an elephant.
I'm sorry, I didn't think opinion was a disaster. I thought people were right, that had a right to their opinion. I wrote it. I fact checked it. Excuse me. What I wrote. It was my opinion. You don't like my opinion, so therefore I'm being, chastised because you don't like what I wrote. It doesn't matter that it's true or not. You don't like what I wrote. So therefore you're turning around and you're saying, well, I don't like what you wrote, therefore I'm going to censor you by, I'm going to tell you to step down. I'm going to make you apologize. I wrote what was the facts that I found. Now, you may not like it. You may disagree with it. But if you wrote something that I didn't agree with, I agree with your right to write it. I don't have to agree with you, but you have a right to write it. This is still America the last time I looked. And the thing is, it was out of the purview of this community board. It had nothing to do with this. So anything you write on Facebook, and someone here called people fascists on Facebook, should I bring them up on charges now? Because they use that slang expression to another human being? If I went through everyone's email or Facebook page, I'm sure I'll find something. And then I can hold you accountable for what you wrote? That's absurd. And what you're doing is a travesty.
Yeah, Rich.
Rich,
It's
and then
very slow is the argument, okay? I can't go around writing op-eds on Facebook, calling people faggots or niggers, for example, right? Because that's wrong. If I did that, you should go after me, take me down. That's what the issue is. I could bring up stats as well about, let's say, the Jews controlling XYZ% of the media. But that source, who knows where that source is from? It could be reputable or not. I'm just saying.
But you have a right to say it.
No, but we're leaders. That's the problem. And that's the problem. We're leaders. Look up to us. You're vice chair. I'm on the board. I can't go around saying things like
We
that.
have leaders in the country that are saying things like
That's
this.
on them. And we can't compare ourselves to people like that. We have to hold ourselves to.
When I wrote, someone running for president said the same thing.
And we should. And that person we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to.
But he has a right to say it.
But that's.
All right, let's bring it down a little bit. We
I
want to
understand.
get.
So what I'm saying is that the issue with the complaint was we should hold ourselves to a higher standard. And me writing a Facebook post talking about niggers or faggots is not okay.
All right, hold on, Rich. Please refrain from using actual language like that. I know it's hard.
No, I know. He's saying it's your opinion. That's the example. I'm going forward with the opinion here, right? Obviously, those words are terrible, but he's saying that it's your opinion. You can say that, and I'm saying no, you can't.
But it's opinion based on fact.
No, and what I'm saying is that we can't.
Is this the right place?
All right,
Wait. Is this the right place? Because we already did this.
Yeah, but
So that's the whole point of the committee, is so that this doesn't happen.
He's defending himself. I can.
So I'm sorry, but can we move on? Because we already had a hearing. We already had people hear it. The committee voted on it.
Right,
Let's
but now the
move on.
leadership is voting on it, so
Yeah.
they have to hear different things too. But we don't want to get into an argument back
It
and
doesn't
forth.
make sense, doesn't make sense. We just had a hearing about.
Yes, but the leadership has to respond, the committee, goes from committee, and it goes to leadership. So you gotta give everybody their 2 minutes or 1.5, whatever.
I just
okay?
think I'm having an angry conversation. It's a-
Yahe,
Who else?
Yahe.
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 Hey, good evening, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. So I just wanted to chime in, part of the gallery. I think a couple of things we have to ask ourselves is what platform was used to make those remarks? And the second question is, in what capacity was Al speaking on? Those are two very, very, very important things because we also have to protect the freedom of speech. We can't take it away. I know we're held to higher standards. And like Rich said, those are things that you absolutely shouldn't say. But if someone has an opinion, we should not take that away from them. It's not fair to take that opinion away from somebody. And just regarding voting, I feel like when you run for office at the community board, you're able to vote for yourself. So if this is an open floor, I mean, if he was on the committee itself, I could probably see it being an issue. And I don't even see, honestly, in my opinion, this vote even being close enough for it to matter if it's going to be, if his vote is going to count or not. Thank you again, and I miss everybody, and thank you for all that you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Yeah.
Do we have any?
Anyone else in the gallery?
I know Roxanne wanted to go last. I just want to comment real briefly on something, Al. I know you don't like me talking too much. But you want to go on Roxanne first?
Okay, Roxanne.
Yes, hello. First, regarding the agenda, Parks Committee had a motion that they were going to delay the Zimmerman capital project until they receive the funding for the bathroom to be included, to be built at once. So just to please, I know that both chairs or co-chairs of Parks are not present, but I was attendee of that meeting, so I'd like to share that information, please.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
and second issue regarding the ethics committee, I'm not going to mention anything personal because I don't want to polarize the committee board, but I'm just going to go based on open meeting law. This motion should have been printed on the agenda before a vote is taken. I mean, before this vote here is taken, not the ethics vote. And second, I was told by the someone from the BP's office that they had contact Committee Board 11. They did not disclose who they spoke to because I'm not privy to that information, to inform them that for open meetings law, they cannot take a vote outside the meeting. So the meeting must be open in the ethics committee to take that vote. They cannot close the meeting and take the vote afterwards. And they said they have spoken to someone at CB11, I don't know who, but you could follow up with that with the BP. I'm just trying to make sure we follow procedures to make sure everything's done fairly. Like, sorry, what?
Yeah, no, yeah, right, we are following procedure. We voted this procedure in. And that person you're talking about is me. They spoke to me, and they also provided a training which will be happening on the 29th of September, which I think was this Friday. And we will be asking that question at that time.
Okay, I honestly did not know it was you because they did not share that information with me. Just for you to know, I didn't know it was you. I was not targeting you in any way.
Oh yeah, no. I just want to. I'm going to be transparent. It was me.
I appreciate that because.
I'm sorry. Yeah, I just want to, because I want to be transparent. They also offered a opens meeting law training, which is awesome. And I'm going to attend. And I was the first one to say I'm going. So, and I'm going to ask the question. That's what you do. You find out the correct information and follow the correct process. That's what you do.
And that's awesome. I honestly, because I also have been very involved for almost 2 years in open meetings law. There's a committee formed by lawyers, volunteers who's trying to strengthen open meetings law. I've been in many of their meetings online, a member of that committee. It's an informal committee. So I like to learn, I like to share information on that issue because it's very important to me to make sure we have open meeting law, to make sure our government works transparent and fairly for everybody that lives in this great city of New York. And I
What is
also
that?
like to, one last thing, regarding, Mr. Alangelo. I really think that, I'm not going to make, but I don't think it's fair to scapegoat him for all the issues we have in this community. I mean, I may have differences with this man, a difference of opinion, but we can work together and respect each other to get the work done for the community. But I don't think it's fair to scapegoat him for all the racism that does exist, just because he has a difference of opinion. That's my opinion. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Al, if you don't mind, I just want to remind people, we are recording this meeting. And while I will use the N word to prove a point, because when I was being appointed to my position, a board member during a public meeting at Einstein, called a friend of mine who's now a congressman the N word. That, I'm not going to say the N word. I'm not going to say it out. No, I get your point, Rich. I'm not directly, it's just at you, because we had, a board member use the middle finger and then another board member verbalize it unnecessarily. So just please be mindful, because not only do I have kids in the background, at least tonight, I know Naomi, more often than not, she has her kids in the background. So please just be mindful of, you don't know who's here, who's listening in. All right.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Anyone else? Okay. All right, Naomi, and I can make a motion.
Okay, thank you. So I would like to make the motion of recommendation solution 1. Diversity and inclusion training at the responders, responders expense.
I'll second it.
Discussion.
Something to say.
Are we in discussion?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Malcolm.
This one.
You're speaking so low. I'm like.
At this point, I'm just very tired.
It's very frustrating.
Very, I can't explain how tired I am, just everything in general. And I'm gonna speak directly to Al in this issue, right? Al, Italian Americans in New York City are protected people, right? If you go to CUNY, right, you guys are a protected class, right? Yes, you're a protected class in the CUNY system because of the things that Italians Americans have experienced in New York City and in America. And I'm not an Italian American man. I don't have that heritage, but the books that I've read, the history lessons that I've taken, I am sympathetic to the things that not you specifically, but Italian Americans has faced, because it's very similar to the plight that Black Americans have faced, right? And I think that it's also, I understand what you're saying about the stats, right? But you need to understand that as a Black man, a lot of the stats that are said are sometimes jaded stats, because it doesn't take an entire picture, right? When it comes to things like crime, education, it doesn't address a lot of the racist systemic policies that attribute to those things, right?
There's many things. Yeah, just let me just say something. You're 100% right. The problem with what I wrote was something's. How do you get out of the situation that you're in? You have people, and you mentioned it the other night, people that better themselves and they go up, but you have the educational system in the inner city is terrible. I worked there. Kids can be taught. Somebody's got to give a damn. The broken homes, which a white president created, that made the white single or the Black single father go from 20% to almost 70%. That was a white president did that. And that's a problem, not only for the Black community, it's a problem for the white community, the Hispanic community, and the Asian community. Those are the people that I brought up in the thing. I wasn't looking to dump on the Black community by any stretch of the imagination. What I wanted to do was say, this is something we gotta fix. You wanna help, Black children so they're not dead in the street? Help them get an education. How, all these things
Well,
come from the
let's-
family unit.
and you know, you and I will agree on the education system in New York City, right? You and I will agree on the leaders that we have in America and how they failed,
Absolutely.
right? We will agree on that. But I really want you to understand, right? And what really made me push this case, right, is the fact that you need to bring in our African American history has been delegated to just courses, right? Everyone wants to be an expert on Black people, right? The things that we face. Everyone wants to be an expert, right? But very rarely do people allow Black people to speak about Black people and the things that we need, right? When you go to the South, you see oppression on our voting rights, right? There's a whole history after slavery, which you were wrong, right? That there was of oppressing Black voters, right? There's a whole history of issues of removing Black people, preventing Black people from getting jobs and from going to the best schools, right?
There's no doubt.
There are times in New York City alone where Black Americans and Hispanic Americans needed to protest in the CUNY. Well, at the time it was called City College now, but I've got the time that it was called before then. They had to protest in the president's office at CUNY in order to ensure that CUNY stays free. But it eventually became a for-profit institution, right? And if you reached out to me, we have not even to me. I'm not even that smart, to be honest with you. As you know, but we have so many experts, Black experts, who can speak about this issue. If you had reached out to them and had their voice, let me finish, involved, it would have been okay for me, because it is our narrative now that's being taken. But you can't take the stats that you're reading off of institutions that has violated and that has oppressed Black people, and to say this is right, because there's so much that was missing in that.
There were 2 Black writers that I
Right. But you can't. The thing is that you cannot just take the Black writers that you agree with, right? The reason why I said what I said that day was because I will take people like Clarence Thomas, Thomas Sowell. I will internalize what they say, but then I'll go over to Black leaders like James Baldwin, and I'll take them what they say, because it's a universal narrative that we have to have. All I was looking for you was to say, you know what? I was wrong. That's what leaders do.
But see, that's the problem. The situation is not wrong.
But your approach,
family, no matter what ethnic group you belong to, if there's a broken family, that child has less of a chance to succeed than one from do they succeed anyway? Absolutely.
The broken families issue. I personally don't agree with that, because I believe that let me finish. I believe that a same-sex couple with 2 women or 2 females can equally raise a child.
Parents.
Right. But I will say that when it comes to speaking about that broken families thing, is that we live in a time where it is not very traditional anymore. Right?
Well, that's a problem.
No, it's not a problem. Not a problem, because you look at the CDC reports, right? Which apparently we keep ignoring, and I presented that.
You're right.
It says that
the family unit is breaking down across
but the CDC.
That's why we're having the rise in crime.
Listen, but you're arguing back, but you're not really listening to what I'm saying. Right? That's why I keep running into this wall. Right? I conceded to you certain things that I agree with you on, but you're not understanding that wasn't those stats, and presenting it in that way wasn't appropriate, right? There are so many Black kids, Black and Hispanic kids walking around, right? That really, they need for us to highlight the positives and come to solutions as to how we can help them together. We don't need more of this stuff in Bronx.
What we've been doing is throwing money at the situation.
It's not just about money, because you know what, starts with me and you. It starts with me, right? Let me finish. It took me having to pull that card, right, in order to have this conversation with us today. Because if we're voting on issues like housing, we're voting on issues like education, we're voting on City of Yes, which is going to provide a lot of opportunities. We need to come to an understanding that this is all of us together, and that you can't just play. You can't say that. You can't start off something I'm sorry, I'm getting frustrated. You can't say something like the proverbial elephant in the room, center Black people, and not expect a serious response, because you will.
Can I make a suggestion to both of you? because we're gonna go on forever.
Having a good discussion.
I know, can we continue? I mean,
No,
this is
just
this
let's
is,
finish what we.
I know, I want you to finish, but after that, I wanna add, I would like what was discussed back then. I would really love to, all of us come up here at a, whatever, doesn't have to be immediate, just
People
to
have-
sit and discuss it.
People
Because you
have
bring
to
up
know-
good points, you bring up good points.
People
I've got
have to know
two
where
things in
I
my
come
head, I'm
from,
screaming
and
to
people-
wanna say, so,
People have to know where he comes from, and people have to know where I come from.
I know,
I
but
spoke to one member of the board who called me after the yard. And he said, I know you, Al. I said, but I took exception to you. I don't like the way you came across. I said, that's not the way I meant it. That's not the way, I wasn't out there to hurt anybody, and I can understand his point of view. And I did understand his point of view. But what I'm trying to say to you is that I took statistics. Didn't mean he saw it a different way than I saw it. He saw it as a black man. I didn't see it as a black man. I saw it as a person doing a scientific job of, this is facts that I found, and I put them down on paper. And he explained, it hurt me to read that. And I'm saying, why it hurts? It's fact. And he said, because as a black man, there are things in there that hurt me. Maybe true, maybe not true. But I know what I've gone through. I know you told me stories about what his son went through in school. And that don't happen to me.
It doesn't, yeah.
You walk
Right.
around, somebody follows you around in a store. That doesn't happen to me.
My dad, like there are articles out right now saying that we should prevent stop and frisk. My dad was a nurse, right? In his nursing uniform, was stopped, right, and frisked in his nursing uniform. You know, what do you think?
What I was trying to do is make it better.
But that
I
was
was
making it better.
obviously, but what I was trying to do is bring something to light. Can't we fix this? We throw money at things, but if you don't fix the unit, the family unit, or bring Big Brother, bring somebody in there to give those boys a male figure, this crime is going to continue. It's got to stop somewhere.
What I believe is missing, right, is that people are not giving Black people their voice and their ability to make changes. That's what I believe is missing. That there are so many. Let me finish. There's a book.
I don't want to be one of those we hold you down, but you're being held down.
You've
been held down for years.
Let me finish. There are some. There's a book that I read, right? It's called The Wealth Choice, right, by Dennis Kimbrough, right? I know you read To Think. I'm sorry, so tired. To Think. Whatever. It's like a remake of that book, but from a Black perspective, right? There are so many Black families, you know, and Black people who have made it, right? But the thing is that we don't allow those people to take control of the narrative and to be able to replicate what they've done, right? Because there's so many resources that's been denied to us as a Black American, right? And what I would love to do, right, was something that I replicated at my job, for example. I remade a green book. That's one of my, you know what a green book is?
Yeah.
Right? I remade a green book, and I said, you know what? A lot of people in the Bronx feel like black business owners don't exist, but they do. So I went in and I found all the Black owners in that community, and I made a green book for Black History Month. And I said, here they are. Their voices are here. These people are here. I want to be able to replicate what works and to inspire others. I do not want to
They
use
have to set an example to the inner city.
And they
that don't
are.
see it,
And
they're not.
But we're not allowing them to
They
be
moved up. They moved up to Forest Park. They moved up to Riverdale, and they forgot where they came from. Our elected officials turn around and talk. Oh, we need more money for this. Yet they'll vote against the voucher.
You say they forgot where they came from. I can't say they forgot where they came from because you know what? Oral has his own mentorship organization. He runs that. He's in the community.
Some are absolutely.
No, a lot of them are in the community. But we have to amplify. We have you as a white Italian man, right? Have to use your influence and your platform to put those people out there. You are supposed to support them instead of using those statistics. You should be reaching out to them, learning who they are, and saying, "Let's work together and let's do this." Right? Because that's allyship.
But yeah, as I said, but and if you go through the writings that I've written, and I've written, I don't know, you will see I constantly try to find a way to make things better, not only for Black Americans, but for kids in this country. You know, Hispanic kids that come over here. You have I use the word illegal because they are.
Don't say illegal.
But I
It's
don't
migrant.
I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
Everybody has their own word,
I
please.
blame, you know, I'm
No,
not
it's
gonna,
not correct.
I'm not gonna not help them because they came here and they are illegal because they came here without.
That's not true for,
Let's not start on that.
that is
please.
not true for human
Just-
beings.
Then
It
we
is-
have a, if we have a
It
different.
is incorrect.
If they came,
Well, then stop using words that people are reacting to.
but they didn't come illegally, so that
Let's-
makes
we're
it.
not going, we're not going
They're
there.
gonna react negatively
Oh, yeah.
to.
We don't want to bring up this subject.
Yes.
Let's just change it.
I'm just sure where we're going.
I would like
Miss,
I'm not sure.
Al and Malcolm to just read some of the comments.
yeah, I see. Miss Delgado just said 1% of businesses are owned by women of color. Do you know how you can you can build more women of color instead of using stats that show disadvantages without context? You go look for those people and you put them out there because they inspire other women of color to become those people.
Women in general.
Well, yes, women in general, but still, women of color are still facing issues.
One of the things too is you see color more than I do.
I'm
I'll
fortunate.
tell you why, because
Women in
I
general,
treat you
like,
I treat you like I would treat anybody else. I don't treat anybody any differently. You see the difference because you feel the difference. I don't see it. I wasn't brought up that way. I never heard a racial remark in my house. I don't see it.
I
That's
think,
not my.
Al, if you and I were brought up in, when they had the Italian lynchings,
But that's a
okay, when
different
my
story.
grandparents were here and all that stuff, and what they had to go through, I have the New York Times articles that said, do not
Oh, my
employ
grandfather-
any Italians or whatever, leave them poor, whatever.
My grandfather had to say he was French because they weren't hiring Italians. I understand that. I understand that, but that one of the.
And you know what? I spoke to one member of our board, and I won't say who they are. And they told me that when they were growing up, right, and they were trying to get into Alex and Coops, this is in our district, they had to pay money under the table to secure their employment. You know what I mean?
I understand
And
exactly
and
what
those things still exist today, right? As a real estate agent, I've been to landlords in Morris Park on Yates Avenue who will be like, I don't want certain people.
Malcolm, have you lived in Manhattan?
Oh,
You haven't.
I know Manhattan too.
14 years,
Yeah,
okay?
it's
I know
horrible.
how much money's gone under the table to the management company.
Right, exactly.
You know, it tells you prejudice is out there, it's absolutely there.
We have to understand that as leaders, we have to be forward thinking and understanding at all times, no matter what we say or what we do. Because as Bernadette likes to say, we are the watchdogs, right? And
We are.
no matter where we are community board level members. If I get stopped on the street and someone says, "Hey, Malcolm," I'm like, "Where do you know me from?" The community board. I can't say, "Oh, well, I'm not wearing a hat today." I'm a community member no
I've
matter
been
where I'm
president of the
at.
association for 24
And
years. I've
that's-
been principal for 50. I know how I have to act.
Right,
on
but
something.
you know what? You having all of those titles means you have to take extra care of what you do and say.
I am very careful about what I do.
Can I say something, Al? I just want to ask you, Al, when we had this initial conversation and we were outside of this office, you know, and Tiz is a witness, we were all there. You said you want to sit down, you want to talk about this. Why didn't you take that opportunity during the whole summer to reach out to Malcolm, to anybody, to do that, to try to resolve that?
No one reached out to me either. I mean, it works.
No, but you made
I
the
said-
suggestion.
I said I was willing to sit down with anyone.
But you made the suggestion, right? You put that forward.
Well, actually,
That
Janice
was,
did.
right? So, okay, so what I'm saying to you is, right? That you see that this is dividing us. You see that this is creating a division here.
It is, obviously it
If what you want, right, is to continue to debate this, right? You got to understand that there's got to be a middle ground, right? There's got to be a middle ground where people can be at peace with one another, where that middle ground is, wherever that middle ground is. It's not going to be where you think it is. And he's telling you as much. Oral, hold on a second, Al, I know you're really ready to say something, but I want you to listen.
I know, but
Hold on a second, Bernadette, I gave you an
I've been
opportunity.
able to say anything.
So, Oral, your friend Oral said he was hurt by it. You just said that. If people are telling you these words hurt me, and you, not only Oral, your friend said that to you, other people have said that to you. Al, those words are hurtful. They're offensive. We don't like them. hold on a second, Al. We don't like them. That's an opportunity for you to say, why is that? Not to double down on why you think it's right, but listen to what he is saying
What
to
I
you.
said
What
was-
Naomi is saying to you, what Rich is saying
But
to
what I
you,
said to
what
Darrell and I said to you
hold
guys
on,
down
what
the side-
Junior is saying to you, what Avril is saying, they're saying to you, these words are hurtful. We don't like, right? That this is causing, this feeling here. It is causing, anger, division. It is causing all these things, right? We can't move forward, Al, right? Without any resolution, because
But
there's
I
going to
said-
be
I said
that
to you-
side of the table and there's going to be this side of the table, right? And we're not going to be able to, because you know why, Al? Because there's a feeling here. He's telling you, right? He's outright telling you that he feels disrespected by you, right? That those words, even if you have a right to say it, no one is disputing that you have the right to say whatever you want. But you also have to understand that when you say things, people have a right to react the way they feel, right? So this is the reaction that people are having to your words, right? And he is saying he's feeling disrespected by this, right? He's saying to you, right? Al, I expect more from you. As a leader in this community, as someone, Al, you told me that you were 80 years old, right?
Yep.
Right? You are old enough, right, to be his grandfather.
Twice.
Right? So he is looking at you in a way that you may not even understand. It is way more than just, the thing that we have going on here, the business, right? He is looking at you, and who knows, maybe and if I'm wrong, tell me if I'm wrong, sort of like a grandfatherly way, someone who is an elder in the community. I don't know about in your culture, Al. My children are also Italian, right? My children are Italian as well. Besides being Latino, they're also Italian. And I know that in my children's family, their grandparents were very important in the family's scope, right? And in our cultures, elders are very important people. We respect our elders, right? We look up to and we want to hold them on a pedestal. But sometimes the things that come out of elders' mouth could be wrong. It could be actually something, because we've been brought up in a different era, right? Now, we may have thought that those practices and those behaviors and those attitudes were okay. And a new generation of people are saying, that's not good. That's not okay. Beating the shit out of your kid 50 years ago for mouthing off to you was okay, correct?
Yeah.
Right. You got backhanded, right? And nobody came. Today, you backhand a kid. Phyllis will, if a child comes to your school in your classroom and the lip is, blown up, bruises, will you call the police?
Yes.
Yes. It's a different world, Al. It's a different world. And young people are saying, hey, we don't respond to these words, right? The way you may have responded to that in your time.
But what
Right.
Oral said to me that evening, and what you guys said to me outside, I told you then, I told them the same thing. My intention was never to hurt anybody in the Black community.
I understand
That's
that
the
you have
way it
said
came
that.
across.
I understand that you have said that, but they have said to you, it did anyway, right? Even if that wasn't your intention, it did hurt them. She's saying it hurt. He's saying it hurt. Her daughter was hurt. And people are saying these words did hurt me. Even if that wasn't your intention, what is perceived is what's
understand that.
important, right? A lot of people say, I was just joking, but the perception of what, right, people are feeling is what is something that also matters. So you can't take away just because, you have the right to say something that people are offended by.
Wrap it up, please.
Okay?
You're right, but
This is a
We
discussion.
need
Let
to
us
wrap
have
this up. I'm sorry. This discussion.
Al, I don't know, do you want to have an opportunity to continue to discuss them and have resolution?
I believe that we have a gap and that the gap needs to be bridged.
And the discussion would be good.
And in order to bridge that gap, we need to be constructive about it. So we need to have a full discussion together, right?
But it's gotta be an upfront discussion about talking about my feelings when I see certain things that I don't like happening in the black community, and you gotta tell me.
Well, you can't just say in the black community because we all live in the same community. It's our community.
Well, I'm talking about, I'm concerned about inner city kids. And I see things that are happening in the Hispanic, I worked in Washington Heights for years. And I saw Dominican kids that didn't speak a word of English coming into school, graduating with honors and going on to scholarship.
Will you accept,
There's-
will you accept in a discussion when, you know, people of that community tell you, this is the way we feel about it, this is the way we see, and period?
Absolutely.
There needs to be no more discussion about it. Al, you need to respect how we feel, period.
But does it go both
Can
ways?
You gotta respect a lot of people
Go
too.
both
And I-
ways.
The
Respect does go ways.
But
Does go
because
both ways.
As a respect,
Absolutely.
as a respect, this is an elder, I'm an elder, okay? So, and, you know, there's a respect that, you know, like I had to have with my parents. They didn't really understand a lot of things. We always bumped heads, but we always talked about it. We never went to bed mad. We never did. My parents taught me, you don't go to bed angry, okay? That internal bad. She never had an ulcer.
Bernie, just let me say one more thing and then
Okay.
we'll put this to bed and we'll do that. I was hurt by people turning around thinking that I was doing something out of being prejudicial. So then I got mad. Because said, who the hell they don't know me, they don't know where I come from, what I did. So then I got my back up because you turned around and were calling me basically a racist or, you know, somebody who doesn't, you didn't say, you didn't know, you didn't know.
Thank you.
I didn't use those words.
I never said that. Give you a copy.
She tried, but you didn't.
I could give you a copy of the speech that I wrote. I'll give you a copy right now, what I wrote, both times. Neither time did it call you a racist.
No, I know that,
Okay, and
But
Christine didn't call you a racist.
Tried.
No,
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 she didn't, she didn't,
no,
she didn't.
hold on a second.
Go ahead.
I told
Grab
you,
smooth.
I can, Al, listen, you're not listening. I want you to understand something. I am not black. You can see that, right? But I have seen black people say to you in your, you know, online battles,
Just the one.
there have been a couple.
Jerry Smooth.
There have
We
been,
go
there have
fight
been a
it.
couple.
Bringing this.
There have been a couple.
Let's not bring.
They have,
Jerry
said-
Smooth
hold
into
on,
this.
Tiz,
He's
I'm
racist.
speaking to Al.
He's a racist.
Right, listen,
Point blank.
so he is saying certain things, and I said that to you, Al. Listen, sometimes when people are saying things to you, you might want to stop for a second. Like the battles that you want to fight, the political battle, right? Because it's mostly, you know, sometimes about political stuff, right? Those political battles, are they important enough that you want to like destroy opportunities to build with people?
I never
Me and
called-
Tiz used to go at it all the time.
I never- but I
Me
never
and
called-
Tiz will go at it, and we may still go at it
But
politically.
I never call anybody a
Right?
name, or I never demean anybody. And listen to-
But when
read some of
people,
Jerry's stuff.
but when people are saying to you, Al, stop. When people are saying to you, for whatever reason, sometimes it's okay. You don't need to die on that hill.
No, but it's a
You know what I'm
dialogue.
saying?
It's a dialogue. I think it's.
But Jerry Smooth is not Al D'Angelo, chair, vice chair, president. You know, you are a community leader. And what happens is, Al, and I know you don't believe this, but I'm going to tell you, a lot of people shy away from being part of, you know, these activities and these events because they feel like, right, people feel a certain way about them, are not respectful about who they are as human beings. And so we don't want to do
You
that.
not know me no better.
But we don't know you. He doesn't know you. You didn't allow for that to happen, Al. And you have to own that. You didn't allow that to happen because your words, just like you went on the defensive, your words threw up walls. They throw up walls, right? And so, you know, even, I mean, like we continue learning even in our old age, right? Every so often we change as human beings. And we can, you know, we can look back and we can say, hey, maybe that wasn't that important, right? You have an opportunity here. You have an opportunity. People are saying to you, there's an opportunity. He's trying to tell you that in so many words. Rich is also Rich, correct me if I'm wrong. There's an opportunity. He's been telling you the same thing. There's an opportunity to fix it. You have, you know, some say in whether that happens or not, right? But turning around and then say, no, I'm not a racist, you're a racist, something like that along that line, not saying that that's what you said. But that mentality is not going to fix the problem.
So I would like to call a truce at this point. Okay?
It's not gonna be
All
solved
right,
tonight,
okay.
yeah.
What?
It's not gonna be solved tonight.
I saw that. Liquor.
Yeah, right.
We still have a motion on the floor.
I have to go home.
I like that idea.
The other, I'm gonna say one thing,
Thank you.
one thing and one thing all. And I'm just gonna say this to you, Malcolm, because I was really hurt. And from hurt comes anger. We know that. That's the progressive. When I saw that email, first of all, I was hurt with all the other board members that signed on, but everybody has a right. But as a person, I was hurt that it didn't come to us to talk and you went right to the borough president's office. We were just copied on it. I'm just telling you, I was hurt by that, okay? Because you want to think as chair or executive board that come to the executive board. So, you already, you kind of put up a wall and cut things up when you did that, and you were like, your actions basically said a lot of stuff. I'm just saying, I was, for no better word, I was turned off.
You want to know what my welcome to CB11 moment was, right? I was in for like a month. I got a text with the white privilege post.
The what?
It was a white privilege card post that was on Al's Facebook page.
Mean.
You commented and you liked it, right? As a black man at my age, if I see that stuff, to be honest, I'm about the path of least resistance. I'm not even going to mess with my mental stability to deal with it.
So you're saying because I liked something?
Because you liked it and you commented on it, and me understanding
Send it to me. Send it the screen
I have
grab.
it. I got you.
Send it to me.
I emailed it to you too. All right, cool. The white privilege
Okay.
card post that put up a wall, right? And the fact that
Okay.
I was on this board for 2 consecutive sessions, and not one of you reached out to me. Now, no one said, "Oh, hey, Malcolm, welcome to CB11."
I wasn't chair.
It doesn't matter who's chair. I'm not.
I couldn't even get.
Bernadette, I'm not chair. All the new members know who I am. Even as Sergeant of Arms, even without being Sergeant of Arms, I reached out to all the members last year. They know who I am, right? No one reached out to me. I went through that first session honestly alone, with my only contact being Jeremy, right? There was no kumbaya here, like, oh, welcome, let me teach you, let me show you, let me show you things.
Saying
Right. So if I see things like that written in the newspaper or post, right, and I know who you guys are, and I know what you guys are supposed to represent, I'm gonna take you for face value what you say.
Okay.
Right. And to me, what you say and what you do is all that I have to go by. Until you make yourself known to me, this is what I stand for.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm just saying, when I got on the board, there was no kumbaya either. There was never a lot of kumbaya.
Listen, but
It's been happening, what's been happening in the last couple, right?
and you know what? We have to bring
We gotta bring it.
But I have to say, when the Serena and that group came on, I was the first one that went up to them and introduced myself to them and welcomed them to the board at our first meeting.
Right. I was part of it.
So then we should break those traditions that don't really.
We're all getting better about what's important about welcoming, okay? I mean, okay, I'm just saying,
I think
it's a
we had
work in progress.
discussed, last year.
The meet and greet.
About having a meet and greet for everybody. So that all the board members get together and have snacks or whatever and get to talk and meet. I think that's important. That's something we had discussed before, and I think it's something we should move forward with.
Yeah, you know it.
Right
Yeah, you know-
before the start of the,
Listen.
yes.
Okay, I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry, is it gap? I'm sorry, where are we in this meeting?
Yeah.
Where are we? I'm sorry.
Make your motions.
Oh, to make a motion?
Just repeat it so people remember what they're voting on.
Okay, so I just want to also, while we're talking, but like I said, the Google is for everyone. You can go and research what you would like. An example of conflict, it says here, determining the existence of conflict of interest. Examples. A committee's member serving on the board voting on his or her recommendation to the board this is not a conflict of interest under this policy and does not need to be disclosed because the committee is recommending action to the council board, and the purpose of the committee is also to serve the council.
That's a little different. That's a recommendation, but I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but that's a
Wait,
little
because
different.
this was my moment. This is my moment. I'm just stating it.
Mhm.
Doesn't mean it's going that way, okay? I am a recommending body. I have no issue, Al, with you, except the article, I disagree with it. I have no issue. Al, you've been very nice to me. I don't know
Wait.
why you say
Wait.
I called you a racist and all this stuff. I didn't do any of that, okay? I never did. This is not to me personal at all. We've had breakfast together. We broke bread. I'm fine, okay? So that's me personally speaking to everyone, okay? Thank you. Now, I will make my motion. My motion is on case 110 is recommended solution number 1. Diversity and inclusion training at responders' expense. That's my motion. Thank you.
You have to go through the rest of the steps. We had the discussion, so just,
All those who say,
all those who agree, say
who
aye.
agree, say aye, because you have the second.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Is it open for discussion?
We just had a whole discussion, Sandra.
I know, but I wanted to add something.
Okay.
She, Naomi said at his expense. Well, why don't the whole board get this training and let the board pay for it? So it's not just centered on Al, but everybody.
I want to hug. I want to hug, Sandra.
What?
I want to
Oh,
hug.
I can only do it on the camera.
That is what I asked for from the beginning.
So we
So
can.
that's what I said, and I was.
You want to change the
I was
We
motion?
gonna
can
wait.
amend the motion that diversity and inclusion training be given to the full board.
We can.
You can change that. if
I
that's
would
what you want.
love, well,
Not at his expense, though.
that's
For
fine.
everybody.
This is
Yeah.
what.
No, not at his expense. That's not fair,
I'm doing my
Veronica.
job.
Then I'll
I'm
have to
telling you
vote-
what's
then I'll
going
have to
on.
vote forward.
But
So you could do that so that it just change your motion just to say that diversity and inclusion training should be given to the full board.
I have to ask.
One question, who's going to enact it?
Ooh.
Well, Jeremy, are you?
We can set it up through the committee.
Yeah, we could.
I'm driving, so if Chris or somebody can assist you, that'd be great.
I wanted to
I
be,
have another
I will
question.
end the meeting when it's over. Just call me.
Okay, Chris?
can you make it a yearly thing too?
We can try to arrange it with DCAS.
Okay.
That's where we get it through. I mean, at least that's where our training comes from.
So if you could see about getting that set up and then everyone would have to go in
You
and
have
do
to-
some kind of training and
Full
they'd have
board
to
have-
log in.
But the full board has to agree.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
This is
yeah,
like-
if this passes,
Right.
then
Right.
if we could get the training done, then everyone would have to, by a certain date, take the training like we do for the sexual harassment training.
Right, that's
and
what
all
we
that.
do.
Right, you could do it on your computer at home.
Exactly. Oh, Sandra, come and hug me, Sandra.
Okay, so
Well, I'm trying. You see?
if you want to amend if it's okay with Malcolm, if he's okay with that decision.
I am okay with that,
Okay.
but to fight the narratives, to fight everything else, we have to be able to embrace different cultures and interact with people. I want to see also a better concerted effort towards us reaching out to like Parkside, reach out to Eastchester Gardens, reach out over in Gun Hill. You know, I would like to see our board really take an effort towards having different meetings in those areas too, right? Because part of that, we don't have their voices a part of our district needs reports, requests. We don't have their voices when we're discussing development. We don't have their voices when we're discussing education stuff, and their voices are very important.
Why not, excuse me, I'm jumping in,
Mhm.
but why not, have that be part of one of the committees or part of the DEI committee to be able to,
D, I can do it.
be something to go out to different, I'm not talking about rally or just have discussions
Right.
and allow and get it out to not just the community board, but to other people to say, we're having a discussion. This is what, one of the things you want to do in a DI committee, and we're inviting everybody.
Well, I say this, hey, for example, Hazel in the housing committee, we planning for one of our workshops to occur over in Eastchester Gardens, correct? Hazel,
Yes,
right?
yes.
I've already spoken to James Ennis, who was online the other day, along with another guy named Buddha, for Parkside Houses to have our next community development budget priorities meeting over there too. But I really want to see an also that's heard
A workshop though, right?
No, an actual meeting.
So you see,
The
that's,
actual community
Community
board
board,
yeah.
As long as they have.
Yeah, we're gonna make sure.
Capacity for everyone who
Yeah,
wants to come.
you have to make sure that all that
Right.
works out.
It'll be the same, but I also want to see that other chairs and
We
US
discussed it in
chair
education
Right.
too.
take that same effort too.
Like
Because
the precinct council, we moved to different communities
Exactly.
every month.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we can't
That's it.
we can't just be centered in Morris Park. We have to move.
Only issue though, if we're still hybrid, how do we set up hybrid if we're?
I will experiment with that with the CD and BP and I'll report back to it.
As chair, I have a question. I have a question about looking more into that. If I can understand, if we just have to do a little bit more research on it because with the 49 precinct council, they're within their own committee, just like a civic association can do that. But with the community board, we have to double check with that.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I'm pretty sure the venues exist, we just have to find it. You know, and by finding it is finding out who are the respective leaders in those communities and discussing it. So
Kevin Riley had a
Right.
education forum last night. Excellent.
But it's a forum. It's not a monthly meeting. It's
Right,
not
no,
a,
I'm just saying, it
Yeah.
was very well attended.
Mhm.
And we got great information. And we learned that there are so many, there's this Beacon program, but they're not getting the information out to the parents.
Right.
Parents don't know about the Beacon program.
Right.
So they spent $23 billion on a Beacon program that nobody attended.
right.
but also with the Beacon programs, I do know like you, a city council person could only have one per district. Like for District 13 here, the Beacon program is in Throgs Neck.
No, he has it in
We could
multiple.
be, we could be here all night.
Yeah, I know.
Uh,
A different
I think
conversation.
that's a good idea if, and Jeremy would know better than anybody else, if we can move the venue someplace else that has enough room for everybody, set up the microphones and everything else. That's a great idea to be able to, show the,
For
show
community
the rest of the
board,
community that we
we
care
have
about
the
them.
setup, but every time we do that setup, it's a cost.
Right.
I don't know if we'd be able to move those setups for every committee meeting,
Mhm.
but we can try and see what we can do as a different option for hybrid.
Yeah,
for
we have
committee
we have to find a venue first and then find out the availability of
Or,
certain.
or if we have our committee meetings that they're, if they are not in our location where we have our hybrid set up, they're not hybrid. People
We'll have
will
to come in
benefit,
person.
people will
Is that-
benefit wherever we're going.
Jeremy,
This is an option, this isn't.
yeah, Jeremy, would you look into that option, please?
Yeah.
All right, let's do what do you call it?
Okay, so you have to restate your motion with the amendment.
Okay.
Third time's the charm.
First,
The vote for that amendment.
First, Naomi, I think, and I'm not 100% certain, first day you're withdrawing your original motion and you're amending it to.
Okay, so I'm going to withdraw my original motion of diversity and inclusion training at respondents' expense to an amended motion that all community board members receive diversity and inclusion training.
At the expense of the community board.
At the expense of the community board. Thank you, Sandra.
You're welcome.
I'll second that. Is that right?
I'll
Is
second.
it time to second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
All right.
This is like the third thing.
Wait, hold on. Who opposed?
Ken.
Ken.
Ken, you opposed?
No, I said I also.
I thought I
If you
heard,
can.
All right, motion,
Is anybody that opposed, please put their hand up.
motion carries.
no, I
Nobody
think
opposed.
nobody opposed.
If you can't see their hand, they could press it. If they're on the video, they could press and put
Have
up
something
their
else
hand.
to say?
So Naomi says unanimous. Okay, perfect.
That's it.
Okay, now do we have the other one?
The other one is nay, so it's.
It didn't
Just-
pass, right?
Yeah, just didn't pass it at all.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
So case 112 didn't pass at all.
So this is good.
I make a motion.
You are good.
Okay, very good.
New business, old business, everybody
Well, I
complies.
think everybody wants to go home.
Motion to adjourn.
Wait, just one thing.
Right, man.
Please,
is it-
somebody
Yeah.
show up for the Columbus Parade tomorrow, this Community Board 11.
What, it's
I'm not
tomorrow?
gonna be here. I
October
was away.
8th.
Oh,
Hey,
okay.
not tomorrow. I was like, oh my,
Please, somebody show up to March. as-
oh, to March.
Tomorrow.
I'm marching. Oh, I've been.
Do
Yes, but you're with Van Ness.
Oh, wait, yeah.
I
Oh,
will
we're-
not be, I will be in Italy October 8th. So somebody please march and represent Community Board 11.
Okay,
Brian, you gonna march?
I don't know. Yeah.
Ryan always marches.
all right, so.
All
I'll be
right.
in Ohio.
Do you have a banner for the community board?
And then.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
So they should carry the banner.
Yeah.
I'll be in North Carolina, so forget about it.
To adjourn.
Is who's the Grand Marshal?
Veronica, Veronica,
All in favor to adjourn?
Veronica.
All right, yeah.
All right, Jerry.
Try to email me the email for the lady yesterday so I can send that information, the questionnaire,
I left
please.
it on your desk.
Okay,
To
okay,
the file.
okay, I'll do it tomorrow then.
Okay, I can send it to you if you want.
No, I'll do it tomorrow because I'm gonna be in the office anyway. So.
Okay, no problem, hon. I left it,
Thank
yeah,
you.
I took it to the file for you.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, good night, everyone. Get home
Good
safe.
night.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Good night.
It's 9:16.
It was, I'm gonna hold on, so I put them again. Yeah.